to you about some of the common LLMs that we already use. And once again, these models are all over the place in the news. You will hear all this time. So let me talk about four or five which are major ones at present. So as you know today, there are three or four large organizations which are pioneered this in this field. Google, all of us know, the one that we use for search and Gmail. Google has the Gemini series of models, and the current one is Gemini 2.5 Pro, and of course, behind that there were many others. Then we have ChatGPT, which was the first one, which we have been using for a long time now. It was the first one, but of course now it has much competition. So the GPT series, the last one in the current series is GPT-5, and there was GPT-4 before that. So GPT is the other series. Sam Altman is the CEO of that organization, OpenAI. So that's the other one that we have very commonly used. The third one is an organization called Anthropic, whose LLM model is called Claude, Claude, Claude. And Claude is the third one, which is generally in the same league as the first two, but is more used by enterprises rather than individual users. Of course, individual users can also use it. So there is Claude as well. Then we have Elon Musk's or the Twitter or X organization or space the Mars space mission. So their organization has an LLM called Grok, Grok. So that's the other one. So these are some of the common ones, and then we have some coming from the Chinese organizations like DeepSeek. There is some Qwen, and there is Llama from Meta, and there are many others. So there are literally tens and thousands of, I would say, thousands of models around. But these are the four which are, I think, used by, let's say, 90% or 95% of the people. Now, we use the word large language models. So large language models are technology tools which are able to predict the next word. And that is how they are able to answer your question. So when we say, for example, we type the word, what is artificial intelligence? Right? The large language model, because it has seen all the information, so all these models were trained using the information already available. So all of Wikipedia, all of the current books available, all websites, all textbooks, all of that has been absorbed, which is called as the training of the model. So these models have gone through all this information and knowledge from various sources available. So they've been trained on this model. So therefore, when we ask a question, what is artificial intelligence? It has all the answers available to it and it predicts the next. By building one word after the other, it creates a sentence, and by creating several sentences, creates a paragraph, and by creating several paragraphs, it creates the whole article or the news or the report for us. That's how it works. And all of this began in 2017. Just a background story for you to in your interest. There was a paper which was called Attention is All You Need. It was by a paper by some of the authors from Google who created the structure called the transformer structure. In the transformer structure, there is a series of neural networks which is able to see what the next word is likely to be. So, those of you who have been tracking this space about 10 years back or 15 years back, recognizing a cat from a picture used to be the big thing. And then we had, an AI model beating the world chess champion, and then we had AlphaGo, and then we had AlphaFold, which was able to recognize protein structures, and for which Dennis Hemesibis won a Nobel Prize in chemistry, and so on and so forth. So, but basically, these models have been working on neural networks on the transformer architecture, which predicts the next word. And because it has all the knowledge, it creates that next word with almost 99% accuracy. Now, why do I say 99? Because there is still a chance that it is able to not predict it right. So as we speak now, while the models are becoming more and more accurate and robust, it can never be 100% true. And that is why when you see some of these AI generated reports, it will give you a caveat saying that this is AI generated and it can make mistakes. And we will talk about the mistake element, which in the AI world is called hallucination. We'll talk about that a little later. So, in fact, when people say that AI is the future, they are not right at all, because AI is right here. In fact, it is a little bit of the past and a little bit of the present as well. And you will, as in the next slide, you will see that we are already, exposed to AI in different forms. And let us see how that is happening. But before that, what is artificial intelligence? So, as the name suggests, it is intelligence, but it is artificial. That means it's not human. So, any machine which is able to do human like thinking would be referred to as artificial intelligence. Now, what do human beings do? We can see things, we can listen, we can read, write, decide. We can answer a question. We can apply reasoning. We can learn a game of chess and play that. We can think of a picture and draw it. We can think of a video and make it. We can see a video and summarize it. And all of those are human tasks. And machines that are able to do all of this is referred to as artificial intelligence. Now, when I mentioned 2 slides back that we are already using AIs, these are some of the examples. So when on Google Maps you put a location, you're trying to put an address, and it immediately fills you with the rest of the address. It suggests the address that you might be looking at. If you're closer to home, if you try to search, it will first suggest that you're home because it assumes that you must be closer to your home. Or if you've been going to the same office or the same friend's place, it will suggest to you that address. All of it's already predicting where you may like to go. Similarly, on Netflix or Amazon, when it makes recommendations to you on films you may like to watch on the basis of what people are watching or what you have been watching in the past, that's again prediction. Similarly, on products, when you're trying to buy something, it will, you're trying to buy a coffee maker. Immediately after that, it will make suggestions to you on coffee pods, right? Because it assumes that if you bought the one product, the next one may be coming. Emails where it suggests that it may be a spam is also predicting. So it's reading the email and basis the content is able to say that it is filtering those out into the spam folder. Already happening for a long time without us knowing. The banking alerts, the smart cities and airports where we are able to find a lot of the information almost without asking or just by giving a hint. All of those are applications of AI that we've been there. Just that we didn't know that we were being, exposed to it, and we may have possibly not called it AI, but it is already there in your text messages. The moment you say, "Hi, brother, I'm about to reach," and says your place, so it's already able to, predict what the next word could be. So it's already been there for some time. Now, what human AI is not. So while we say that it is a human-like, um, human beings, we are multi-contextual. We can see different things and we can, beyond what is mentioned, we can understand all of that. And we have multiple consciousness and we have feelings and we have all of that. So in that sense, AI is not magic. It's not a black box out of which something magical is going to come out. It's based on solid principles. It's based on knowledge and training that has been provided to it. It's based on a sequence of steps it takes. So it's not magic. And because it can hallucinate. Now, I'll just take a moment to explain this term hallucinate because it is commonly used. Now, I must say that increasingly in the last few years, this has gone down to maybe less than 0.1%, quite frankly. But hallucination means that it's like, you know, assume that you have a friend who's very intelligent and very competent. And now this friend of yours never likes to say, I do not know. So when you ask a question, if it does not know, it will just make up an answer and give you the response, right? That is hallucination. So all of these AI models, in the beginning, at least 10 years from now or 8 years from now, were sometimes giving us responses which were not correct, which was all made up. You might have seen stories of some organizations creating a report, and in the report there's a reference to a paper, and but actually there is no such paper. So it made up its, the whole thing is made up. For example, if somebody is Mr. let's say Ram Sharma, and if we ask a question, why is Ram Sharma considered to be the father of Indian cinema? So 10 years back, if you ask that question, it'll give you a beautiful response saying why Ram Sharma is considered as a father of human film industry or cinema. Although no such individual might have existed, and if the individual existed, it did not have anything to do with the cinema at all. So that was hallucination. But the good news is that there is almost no hallucination now, almost none, absolutely. So you can be safe, of course. Because this is a machine, it's working on logic. One can never say that is always 100% correct. And we talked about the jobs. So it's not AI which is going to take away the jobs. It's our own other people who are going to be skilled using AI. And since they will be able to do their job much better, is those who will stand better chances of employment compared to those who don't use it. Right. So let us talk about three concentric circles. And because we are hearing all these terms, so there's artificial intelligence, there's machine learning, there's generative AI, and there are a few more, which I will not confuse you with, but just basically mention it to you. So the larger umbrella, the whole field is called artificial intelligence. And by the way, this term came in 1950s. It's been there for a long time. For several decades, this concept was there. There were scientists working on it, but some things were not happening which could enable it to show the kind of impact it is showing now. The computation powers was not available, the data was not available, and the algorithms which is required, like the one we talked about, transform, etc., were not there. So because of these three reasons, AI could not come into its own. But in the last 15 to 20 years, all those facilities have become available. Best of computers, GPUs, etc., TPUs also they are called. Um, Data is available and models are available, because of which we are seeing the progress of AI. Now, within this broader, universe of AI, there is machine learning. Machine learning refers to any algorithm that learns from data. It takes on the data, not just the by rote learning, but understanding it, reasoning it, and being using that to something else. So any machine which can learn on its own is machine learning. To give you an example, when people were preparing AlphaGo for the chess world champion competition, they just showed the algorithm some basic chess moves and then created two applications which played one against one another. And using all the human moves that have been fed to it, and by learning by playing from one another, two machine learning applications playing one another, they were able to beat a world champion long back. I mean, today, of course, that's almost considered history. So a machine that learns by itself is machine learning. Now, generative AI is the next sort of smaller circle within machine learning, which is within AI, which refers to an AI that generates. So that is why it's called generative AI. It can create content. And since in the world of computers, everything is just zeros and ones, there is no difference between text content or a picture content or a sound content or a video content. Therefore, by extension, it can generate all of this. So today, the term that is used is a multimodal application of AI. It can create work in different modes, whether it's text or voice or picture or video. So generative AI is the branch of machine learning which can create content. Now, as I mentioned to you, there are a few other terms. There's agentic AI. Now, agentic AI, as the word agent suggests, is something that take on a role completely. You just design it for some role and it can keep doing that role every day. For example, you create a system which says, okay, every morning go to Twitter, find out whatever is printed on the world of application of AI in education in India, find all of that, summarize that for me. On the basis of that summary, create a post, go and post it to my LinkedIn account. Now that's a task and it must be done at 4 a.m. every morning. Now that's an agentic application. It will do all of these tasks. And in between, if you wanted that I want to see it before you post it, you can insert a human in the loop and say, okay, give it to me. When I say, okay, then you post it. If you don't want that human in the loop, you can simply say, design it and post it. In between, it might even be instructed to create a picture or a video or all of that thing. So those things one can think about. So that's an application of an agentic AI, which is a one specific application of generative AI. Not to confuse you, but where is the world going today? from agentic AI, the world is, you might have been seeing this term AGI, artificial general intelligence. Now, most of these leaders, Dennis Hassabis from Google, or Elon Musk from Grok, or Yann LeCun from Meta, although he has a slightly different view compared to the other. All of these AI leaders of our time, uh, they have been talking about artificial general intelligence, which means not specific applications of AI, but general intelligence. They should be able to do tasks that any human being can do at a level which better than any human being. That's the level in the next 5 years that people are predicting AI will go to. And just remember this term AGI, or artificial general intelligence. This is looking like the future in next 5 years. Being able to do any task that any human can do at a level better than any human being. That means the same application can defeat the world champion in chess. It can write the best of poetry. It can write the best of, make the best of films. It can make the best of mathematics model, best of, chemistry solutions. All of that in one simple application. That is referred to the AGI. We are still far away from that, but the predictions by different leaders is that it's going to happen in the next 5 years. Okay, so moving on. Um, just quickly to remember, AI is the intelligence like humans. Machine learning is a machine which learns, and generative AI is something that creates. Now we talked about LLMs. Let's go into this a little deeper. What are large language models? And by the way, since this is referred to as large language models, there is a smaller version of this which is also called small language models. So just for context. Now, large language models are called large because they are trained on large amounts of data. That's the text. They learn not just the message in those contexts, in those texts, but also the language patterns. It can predict the next word. And so all our chat-based applications, the Chat GPT or the Gemini or the Claude or the Perplexity, by the way, I missed talking to you about. This is another application for research. And we have an Indian who's leading this. So that's the good news for those of us who are from India. So those are the current models. And the little picture you see on the bottom here, it works from some input is given to it. In some hidden layers, some transaction happens, and it is in those layers that weights are assigned to different words to be able to predict the right word in the output layer. And then that output layer is converted into a word that we see in form of. But all of this happens so quickly that we don't see the next word being presented. We can just see the next article being asked for. So that's how the LLMs work. LLMs do not know facts, they predict patterns and they can be wrong. We have talked about this a little bit. I must say that about 3 years back, when we were doing, Chat GPT based, searches or discussions, and when we asked it to give some information, they used to be a little dated, right? So, for example, let's say today there is a war which is happening between US and Venezuela. And if I had, I'm not talking about today. Today, if you do it, you'll get the right answer. But if 3 years back, if you put a question, what is the conflict between Venezuela and US? Because the large language model has been trained on text up to a certain date, it will not know that. Right. So therefore you were saying you might get an answer. There is no such conflict between US and Venezuela because the model was, let's say, trained till 21st October 2023. So it does not know anything that happened afterwards. But today, all the LLMs also put a layer of current information search on top of what they respond to you. So today, if you ask an LLM what is happening in terms of the conflict between Venezuela and US, not only will it do the reasoning till that date in October 2023, on top of that, it will do a search on what's happening today and still give you the right answer and therefore give you the right answer. So that is how LLMs are today not only able to reason, but they are able to give you the absolute most updated information as well. Um, Sometimes LLMs go wrong because they have been fed so much data that depending on what source they bring that information to you, it may not be the most accurate one. So I'll give you an example. Let us say there is something called photosynthesis in biology, and now maybe there are some sources which don't predict, don't put out the right information. So it's possible that LLM goes to that source and gives us the wrong information, which is likely because if there are 99 sources giving you right information and one wrong, it will be able to logic and give you the right one. But in some cases, it can still give you wrong information. So today, what we have is applications where we can feed the information. It is called RAG. This is a concept we will come to in the maybe the fifth or the sixth session, wherein we are able to give a manual. So this is my organization's manual, and I'm going to ask you question related to it. So give me information only from this manual, not from any other organization's manual. So that's the application of regenerated, augmented, retrieval augmented generation RAG can be done, and which we will discuss later. That's for us for some other session. Now, what is AI good at? It can write emails. We can just give it one sentence summary and it will write that email. We can say, summarize this document for me in paragraphs or 2 pages or 10 pages and bullet points. It can do all of that. I don't know this topic. Explain to me as if it is I'm a 10-year-old, or explain to me if I'm an expert in this area. It will explain to me in that particular, frame of reference. Yeah, I can say, okay, I'm working on a business idea to create a restaurant in the Delhi region. Give me, 20 brainstorming ideas. So it will analyze that and give it to you. It can help us save a lot of time. I can say, here is this document, convert into a podcast so that I can hear it while I'm on my walk. It can save us time like that. I can say, here is a big video which is 3 hours long. Can you only pull out those elements where a particular topic has been discussed and transcribe that for me? So it can. So multiple ways in which our lives can become simpler. Or I simply have my, notes from a discussion today. I can just feed that handwritten note and say, okay, read these notes and give me and write, good format of minutes of meeting, or organize that into a PPT, or organize that into a report. All of that it can do. So just an example, these are applications that we can, and you might be all now, those of you who already know will already understand this, but others may be thinking it's so useful, and it is indeed useful. And that is why no surprise that AI is going to be a necessity for irrespective of what roles or jobs we are in. So just some examples. So these are live demos which can do. So any of you can download GPT, or you can download Claude, or you can download Grok, or you can download Gemini. And incidentally, many of these, or almost all of those, have free versions. Of course, there are advanced versions, which in some cases we have to pay for, but all of them also have free versions. So you can simply download that and you can ask these questions. And I like you to, on your own, experiment, play around with this. Now, the good news is that in the past, when we had technologies, we needed somebody to coach us on those. But today, because we have AI, we can simply say, I don't know how to use AI. Can you please explain? And it'll give you 5 steps. So the AI applications can themselves help you understand what they are. And that's the beauty. And that is where all of us can be hands-on and experiment with this. In the beginning, when you ask these questions, you know, look at the structure in which the responses are coming, and then try experimenting with other applications. For example, if you ask a question now, so you can say, this is a very long answer, give me a shorter answer. Now, this is an answer for an expert, give me a simpler answer. Answer as if this has to be explained to a 5-year-old child. Answer as if this has to be explained to a senior politician. Answer in a very friendly tone, or answer in a very formal tone, or answer in the form of a bullet point. So can you convert that into a schematic, or can you explain this through a picture? And you will find that all of those, you can play with all these commands, and you will see the response. And by learning through these commands and responses, you will learn a whole lot on how these applications work. In the next session, we will try to do a few to also understand what kind of prompting. This whole technology is called prompting. When you give it a command and it gives you a response, and we can be more and more efficient and innovative with the way we prompt, and the outcome is based on the prompt, and this is what we will try to see the next time. We can, we want to do this live demo, but I don't think we have the time. But you can on your own Try this. You can say, draft a polite professional email requesting a meeting with a senior stakeholder. Now, when we use AI applications, a few things are important, friends. It is a ocean of knowledge. It knows everything that any this that is there to know. But basis the command we give, it is able to give us better answers. For example, if you say, you are a senior corporate professional who is able to write emails required for different situations. I want to meet senior stakeholders from the world of, let's say, power engineering. Please help me write an email in not more than 3 paragraphs. The subject of the email must be this. And the purpose of this is to request for a meeting, which I would like to do within the next few weeks. Make a structure which is very friendly and yet convincing. Ask me any questions once you have written this email so that you can correct it. After you have written the email, please rate it on the scale of 1 to 10 and tell me how good is the email. And if it is less than 7, please improve it to 10 out of 10. Now, such complex prompts or commands we are able to give, and this prompt is far more than what you see in the screen right now. It will give you far better response as you can imagine because you are giving the AI application the context, the objective, the tone, the outcome format, the sequence. So the more you inform it, the better response you're able to get. Right. So, and you can play around with it on your own. When you talk to AI, be clear, give it the context in the background because it does not know who you are, whom you're writing to, what is the purpose, what is the situation, what is the background. Provide all of that. Ask for a format. Give me in paragraph form, give me in bullet form, all of that you can do. Give me a report which is 10 pages or 2 pages or summary, all of that. Give me a PowerPoint. You can ask for all of that. Now, why AI is powerful is because it can help us make better decisions. I'll give you an example from healthcare. People find that when somebody's MRI reports are read, the efficiency or the effectiveness in the way AI reads it is, let's say, about 60%. Now, human doctor has about, let's say 40%. But together, if a human doctor applies AI, then it is far better, 70%. So we are able to see, for a long time that healthcare applications have used the picture of human retina to predict diabetes for a long time, which human beings can't do. The capillaries are too small. We can't do, but technology is able to do. In case of infrastructure, we can do smarter planning because so many variables are there which human beings can only look at 3 or 4 dimensions. Computers can look at 1,000 dimensions. So therefore, better, smarter planning. Analysis with procurement. Let's say there's a large organization which procures 10,000 products. Now, no human being can, humanly do it. Therefore, all of those applications come in. And, if you're a leader, you have so much information, different kinds of inputs, past records, all of that can be put to use. So there are multiple applications of AI. There is no field of AI which has been identified, no field of human working which has been identified till date where AI is not useful. And this is not my code. This is coming from some of the leaders who say that till now, no area of human working is known where AI will not be applied or will not be useful. So that's the extent of ubiquitous or wide application that we are talking about. So, that takes us to end of the first session. I know we kept it very simple, um, but the larger objective is that we use AI confidently. We apply AI to real work. We think better with AI, and we will do this, program or course series of sessions very slowly, and we will try to all move together in a manner that is, I'm using the word safe as well because there are some elements of safety and um, personal data and privacy that we will talk about later, but those are aspects that we will deal with. Okay, so here is a quick check. As we said, no examination, but yet you can see these answers yourselves. AI learns mainly from what? What does AI learn from? What does LLM predict? And what does Gen AI create? And if you've got these responses, you are ready for week 2, and we will meet you again same time next Sunday. And let me see if there are any 1 or 2 questions which I can take up. Otherwise, we will let you have a happy Sunday and then we will connect soon again. So I'm going to look for my chat and Kushal, if you can please allow people to put their responses in the chat,
Yes, got
we
it.
can look at that. Yeah. So for all of for any of you who already have a good background in this, if it was too basic, I'm sorry. We just want to make sure that everybody on the same page before we move further. But soon in maybe a couple of sessions, we will be moving at real good application speed on some of these applications. And I can assure you, if you stay through this course, the entire sessions, you will be in the top 1% of people learning AI for their work. All right. So I think since we are already a little bit behind time, I'll let you enjoy your Sunday, but we will meet again next time. And next time when we meet, we will also try to do some